right, I'm Miss O'Neill.
I'm Miss Starsick.
Miss Johnson.
And we have Parker, 3rd grade.
Okay, so if you remember our chart from last time, the amount of hands raised and then the amount of time. And so our first question is, and forgive us because last time we did ask some of these questions, but we were supposed to save it for this part, so it's going to be a little bit of a repeat from the beginning. What did you notice about the amount of hands raised as the time increased?
So what did you guys notice?
It just kept getting a little bit higher each time.
Okay, so as the time increased, so did the number of hands. Okay,
Yeah.
good. And then also, just so you guys know, we each put, we didn't pass them all out, but we put one of these at each table, so you could remember what your time was and have it right in front of your face too as well. So you guys can look back on that too. You're good.
Okay, so looking back at the teaching chart that we passed back after each table, what do you notice off of that?
More so the pattern. What pattern
Yeah,
do you
do
notice?
you notice
Or
that,
pattern?
we kind of mentioned that the time changes depending on the way you're sitting in the room.
It's
So
just late. Sorry.
Oh, it's okay.
Can you rephrase that question real fast?
Yeah, what was the pattern that you noticed? We each passed out this to each table. So what was the pattern that they noticed? Because we kind of did this last class a little bit, but that's kind of, we went to our explain too much for the last time.
If you remember, the coffee pot was over here.
So is there a pattern? Yes, Chelsea, you said there was a pattern, right?
Yes.
What pattern did you notice?
It went in a circle around the room.
Okay, perfect. So you noticed that it went around the room, not just in one just straight
No.
line. Perfect. Okay. So just some other questions. Why do you think it makes a difference if the lid, so we had the coffee pot. Do you think you'd be able to smell that if we had like a lid over it? Do you think?
Not as well.
Not as well. Why?
Same with the vinegar. Do you think you'd be able to smell it at all if it was sealed?
If it was sealed.
Because the containers were blocking the smell.
Okay. Yeah. So you think they were blocking some kind of the smell that was going through?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, time out.
What?
So your question where you said, what are your patterns that you noticed?
Mm-hmm. So we wanted them to notice that it goes.
What is the data? How do they know that?
It's at the table. We'll have on the smart board, but
You have to help them make sense of this. You're assuming you're missing a step.
Okay.
So walk them through how to make sense of that. That's what we did last time.
That's what we did last.
Can you just redo it?
Yeah, we don't have the smart board thing to do that because that would just take a lot.
We'll
more
have
time.
it on their paper.
Okay, so if you remember last time, we had on the smart board before, which we will, and we actually teach it. And Chelsea said that she noticed that it wasn't just a straight line, was it, Chelsea? How did it go? Can you come up and show the class, please?
Yes.
And just it would be bigger, just so you guys know. It wouldn't be this tiny.
As time went on, it went in a circular motion, so these people smelled it.
Perfect. Thank you, Chelsea.
And how do you know that?
So
Because we raised our hands.
Yes, because there's
During
times.
time, right?
During
So the pattern is a general pattern of when the time increases on who smells it.
That's
what you want them to say. Get her to say that.
Okay. Oh, you're good.
Okay, so like Chad's table, looking at what Chelsea just showed us about how the smell moved, did you guys smell it before or after Chelsea's table?
I think we smelled it first, actually.
Oh, that's because Dr. Chambers had a
Yeah.
coffee.
There was a different
But that's
coffee
okay.
first.
But it's yeah.
Okay,
But-
so you think you might have smelled it before because of different sodas. So Annie's
Yeah.
table, do you think you smelled the coffee from the coffee pot before?
But wait, you want her to reference the data. She's trying to draw from memory. Remember, you have to direct her to the data.
Isn't this the data?
Yeah, but is she speaking from the data, or she just said, "I remember"? I think
Okay,
she's
pointed.
Yeah, I pulled this.
We have
Yeah,
it.
she pulled that
I
up.
looked at the time. I mean,
I-
had a
okay.
hundred.
Get her to say the time. So what time did you smell the coffee?
Because she had smelled yours, that's why I was going to move on to their table.
Okay.
To make better, that way it makes better sense.
Okay.
So
yeah,
that she can
confused
actually
if
say
it
that
is.
he smells it after.
Well,
Okay.
looking at the seconds on my paper, it looks like I smelled it after
So what time did you write down?
150 seconds.
And so until Chelsea can see that you
Say that.
wrote down.
Oh no, remember he was standing up here. That's why.
Oh yeah, that's right.
We're confusing you guys now because you were up here recording the time. Remember?
Okay, do you guys just start at the beginning? I'm so sorry.
It's
start,
okay.
Just start at the very beginning because this is really hard.
It is
Okay.
kind of hard to
Okay,
explain.
sorry.
Yeah, it's really hard to
Okay, just start at the
explain it.
beginning and you all
Is
do
it-
great.
Okay.
Can I just ask a question?
Yeah.
I know like our data isn't very accurate almost because of like So when we're trying to explain it, when they smelled it there, that's what I'm running into.
So just plan on waiting.
Like
So,
we
like,
thought
we
that the small
pretended
coffee
it
was going to
worked,
sweep over the room
even
that
though we
way,
don't
but
have it.
then whenever it ended up going in a circle, we were like, how do we explain that?
No, and that actually is, that's what happened in my Wednesday class too. And we did it a couple times. So yeah, so that is accurate that it goes in a circle.
Okay.
And it's hard for me not to give out the because I want to talk about like the particles, but it's hard for me not to say that.
I know.
Because I almost did say
Okay,
that.
we
Which is
have
what
more questions that we can get to.
okay, because that was the whole reference about how the lid's why she smelled the lid open. She's mentioned how the smell gets out, which is the particles getting out, but I don't know how to like stop myself from saying that.
You can actually just name it and say those are particles.
Those
We're
are
going to use
particles?
the language particles, and you can
Okay.
do that to
We'll do that
them.
later. We have more questions. So.
Okay.
So you can even have kids say particles.
Okay. All right. Well, I don't want to start. I now feel like.
Start at the beginning. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
Start with, no.
I'll
It's,
interrupt.
it's no. It's fine. I just don't know where.
Okay, so if you remember from the chart we did last time, we had the coffee pot over here. And what do you notice on the data table about the amount of hands raised as the time increased?
The longer time we waited, the more hands were raised. So the more people smelled it, the longer we waited.
Thank you.
Good job, Megan.
That was perfect. And then also we have this big chart right here, looking back in your data table, which everyone would have an individual one. Everyone look back at the data table. Okay, and look at the time, how someone had a time here. How many seconds was it compared to the time all the way over this table? Okay, can someone raise their hand and tell me what they noticed about that? Patrick.
Well, Chelsea smelled the smell at 150.
And where was Chelsea standing again, if you can remind me, please?
Right over there.
Right
next
over
to
here,
the-
and where was the coffee pot?
Right next to
Thank you. Okay.
And then I smelled the coffee at 180 seconds.
Okay, and you were sitting right there in
And
your
I was
seat?
further away from the coffee pot.
Further away from the coffee pot.
Why do you think it took you longer to smell?
Oh, he was distracted by it.
Oh, sorry, what?
It's okay.
Why do you think it took you longer to smell?
I think because the smell of the coffee was spreading through the classroom, and so it was spreading and spreading and spreading. It took longer for this. It was spreading to me.
We're having travel for the distance.
Yeah.
Perfect. And then also, if we can look back at our data table again too, did anyone observe anything about how the pattern went? Yes.
There's like a U-shaped.
A U shape. So it wasn't just
Or
a
it wasn't
straight.
random.
It wasn't just a straight line or random.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for noticing that. And how do you notice that?
Well, we have all the numbers of seconds written down, and then we kind of
You remember drawing the arrows?
draw like an arrow.
in the class? Perfect. Okay. Yeah. So I'm going to ask every question again, and you can answer this again, Chelsea. But okay, so why does it make a difference if the coffee lid was open or if it was closed?
Because the smell couldn't get out. It was trapped inside.
Okay, and that smell getting out, that's the particles getting out. So what you're saying is if the lid was closed.
Particles couldn't get out. Well, so that was my question.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's okay. I was going to say, what does it mean that the odor got out? What do you think that means? Of how it traveled to your nose? Does anyone have an idea? That's kind of tricky. We have all the data. Does anyone have an idea of how that happened? What does it mean when the odor got out? Kind of thing. Like if you open the lid of the vinegar.
Like spreading.
Good job.
So Chelsea
From
said,
where to where? From
From the coffee source.
to
your
your
nose.
Good job. That is called diffusion. You just defined our term for us.
Yes.
So you want to write that on the board? Okay.
We'll have a smart board and everything too. We're just trying to make time shorter, so just so you guys know. And then I guess I'll ask this too. So how come Chelsea, we noticed our data, how come Chelsea could smell it first before Patrick? Is there a reason for that? Does anyone know? Why Chelsea could smell it first? The source was here.
Her nose is really good.
What'd you say?
She has a really good nose.
She has a really good nose.
Can we go back to what Patrick said about how he thought? Can you repeat what he told me?
That the 150 and 180 seconds we're talking about, or that the spread out
You said that it had to travel
uh,
a lot farther to reach your nose than it did to reach Chelsea's. So, and then Chelsea brought up the fact that she thinks that the particles that it's why she can smell. So what can we put together from what Patrick said and what Chelsea said? How can we put those two together?
The particles have runners and travel.
So first the these particles are traveling. So they traveled to Chelsea, and then they traveled along, and then Patrick could smell them.
Which is what we just said. She's writing right here, the diffusion. Okay, so we're going to pass out our worksheets now. You know the worksheet again? Okay. And I'll let someone pass out first. I'm going to have someone read for me. Is there a good reader in here that would like to read? Chad would? Okay, sorry, let's wait until Chad gets the paper. That way everyone can see it and read along. And then we're going to And then as you get your sheet, you can. We're going to actually give you guys like a minute to do it first, and then we're going to discuss the answer. Okay, Chad, do you have your sheet?
I do.
Okay, do you mind? Okay, so the investigation question is, how can you smell odors from a distance? Do you mind reading right underneath that, just that section right there for me, please, Chad? And everyone, follow along, please.
Think back to your prediction. Look carefully at the observations you recorded during the investigation. Write a claim that answers the investigation question.
Thank you, Chad. Okay, so it says, I think I can smell. There's a blank there for you guys. We're going to write the claim there. And a claim is what we answer to answer the question. So I think I can smell. So,
We're actually going to go straight into it just based off time. So does anyone have an idea? Does anyone have a claim you think you can smell?
The coffee.
Okay. Where are you
The
gonna
coffee particles.
coffee particles from a, do you think you smell them, like, from a, I don't know how to word it right.
Like,
How do I word it right?
repeating
The way that she asked that question, that was a good answer, Megan. Rephrase that question, because I think I can smell coffee. Like, what do you want?
Yeah.
Okay.
How you want to implement? You're writing there how you can smell. How did the smell get from this coffee pot to your nose? I think you need to rewrite your sentence frame.
Okay, well, I was going to say, like, I think I can smell coffee from a distance because the particles, no?
You want him to say something about moving and traveling. How can you smell odors from a distance? The odors travel.
Okay, so we should reword the whole entire.
Can we just say, I think I can smell odors from a distance because, like, particles diffuse in the air from the source?
But then they're just recopying what your
Yeah.
IQ is. They're not thinking. What they've learned is the claim is how. The question is how can you smell odors from a distance? It's because the smells travel from the source to my
Could
nose.
they say something like, I think I can smell coffee from around the city or from across the room? Because
I'm just confused on how
Odors
to word
that
it
travel?
correctly. Yeah.
It is kind of hard to get them to, like, everyone can fill this out differently. I don't know how to word it. So
Why don't you add? I can smell. I think I can smell odors from a distance.
Right? Isn't it kind of? It's kind of confusing.
That's what we originally had.
Okay, yeah, just go with it. We'll see.
Okay. So I think I can smell odors from a distance. Evidence means proof. So what from the investigation?
Looking back on our sheet, look back at the data table right here, and also look back in the chart right in front. Oh, where is it? The chart right in front of you too.
And remember your vocabulary that you learned too.
So, why do you think you can smell it from a distance? Because, have an educated guess? Yes.
The particles diffuse throughout the room.
Oh, that's perfect. That's a great one. You can write that on your paper. Thank you. And also on the back,
That's what your claim should be. That's what your claim should be.
that's our claim should be.
Yep.
And what would our evidence?
What would your evidence be?
Because I smelled it after, because I smelled it after 2 minutes of the coffee pot being open.
Exactly.
Okay.
So I think I can.
Just write what he said in the claim, and we'll figure out the sentence frame later.
Okay. That's what we're trying to get you guys to get out of this. And then also, I know we're running short on time, but we have on the back the picture of brownies and the nose.
Do it.
And yeah, and we want you guys to draw a picture. We did this in the first class too. Show how the brownie smell gets to your nose. So is it? We kind of discussed. Remember, Chelsea said, look back on the pattern. Was it just a straight line? Nope. No. Thanks.
Get somebody who can use some specific evidence to practice
So specific evidence. What do you mean? Like
support your claim.
Like evidence, like from because Chelsea could smell it at like a minute, and Patrick could smell it at Okay, which is why we have this in front of all the kids, so they can like rephrase that. Okay, so then who did I talk to? Chad. Here, Chad. Okay, do you mind stating one of your evidence? Remember, evidence is what we observed. So up here and also on your chart. Do you mind stating some evidence
What I
that
wrote
you
down.
wrote down? Yeah, that'd be great if you could share it with class.
I said, I think I can smell the coffee because it smells good.
Oh, okay. I see. Oh, that's hard. Okay, that's. I don't even know where to go from there.
Here, Chad, what is the evidence that you have written down that you can smell the coffee? Even though it still smelled good, how do you know that you can smell it?
Look back at your chart if you don't. Look back at your chart. Oh, that's not your chart. Look back at your chart.
What happened to make you know it smells good?
It diffuses.
Yes.
When we were, as a class, when we were recording our times, did you write down at what point you can smell it?
About 140.
Okay, and then also look at everyone else's times that we wrote down. And then, did this table have a different time?
Yes.
What time did they have? You just pick one person.
200.
200 seconds? Okay, so you can tell that Sam, what did we get? So you can, so explain to me what that shows.
Shows that I was slowly moving throughout the room.
Perfect, thank you. That's what we're getting them to do. So, I'm pretty sure we're out of time, but. Yeah.
Great. So I think what you see that'll be important is to have that student chart on the smart board.
Which is what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
And then you can even you may have to have kids point or something just to get them to focus in on the data.
Yeah.
Which is what we did last time. That's
Right,
why
we kind of
it's
did a little bit of
confused.
explaining last
Yeah.
time.
We should have saved
That's why we
it,
got
but yeah.
overtime, so.
Great.
And then what about the wording?
Do you want one of these?
Yeah, I would encourage them to do have
Maybe
student points
different
in data.
particles from different
Something
layers
like that.
diffuse in the air.
No, just focus on coffee. The particles
There you go.
from there. I think I could smell coffee.
Oh, that's why you're doing that.
From
Sorry.
yeah,
Great, told me to
20
1 minute.
minutes, and so who was closer or farther away could smell it in so many minutes. I would get them to write. When you guys write on the board, I would have 2 students. Write down the numbers for 2 students. 1 person close, 1 person far away.
Okay.
And we'll just have to super direct them to what we're kind of.
Yes. Yes. Using questions.
Okay.
Okay, so you all wrap up and let's move into we've got 2 more groups, so we've got to hustle, so